Start with Scott. You talked about this a little bit already. The intriguing matchup between Southwestern and Gowanda Pine Valley, which is going to take place at Southwestern Friday night. And last year, Coach J.U. Culver was a little bit disappointed in his team's effort week one at Gowanda, and the Panthers came away with a big victory there. And he talked about Cameron Alexander, one of the All-State players returning this season. In that game last year, week one against Southwestern, he ran for 136 yards on just 7 carries and scored 3 touchdowns. So one of the big storylines for me heading into that game is how is Southwestern going to game plan to stop this talented running back? I don't know if you can really stop him, but you just want to try containing him, stop those long touchdown carries. And another thing that intrigues me about Southwestern is on the offensive side of the football, they have a sophomore quarterback, Cole Snyder. He played sparingly last year, obviously, behind Ben Burke, who's now begun his collegiate career at Alfred University. I want to see how he runs the offense. Coach Kaufrick is excited to see him in action as well.
How much, I know Nico Pants is back. He had a record-setting year last year. How much do you think that helps Cole at quarterback?
I think it's a big help. Obviously, Nico's a talented player. Last year, he broke a school record in receptions in a win against Allegheny Limestone. He caught 12 passes for 152 yards and scored 2 touchdowns. When you have a young quarterback, having a big target like that, a talented target like that, it's going to make a world of difference.
There's other teams in the area that have big games this weekend, and Franklinville, Ellicottville, they're coming off a sectional championship, but there's a lot of talent gone there, and they're going to take on Clymer Sherman Panama, which has a lot of guys back. The Titans quarterback Tommy Easton's gone. Their first team All-State running back Caleb Rinko's gone. One of their linemen, first team All-State Jonas Hurlbert, he's gone also. So they're going to have to do a lot of work there, but they think they have the guys to pick up the pieces. And Clymer Sherman Panama, they lost their quarterback Jack Payne, but this year Justin Svets is going to take over. And Scott had a chance to talk to Coach Ty Harper about Justin and a story with him.
Yeah, it's actually a rather remarkable story, and Cody was the one who uncovered it in his conversation with Coach Harper last week. Justin is the quarterback. Justin Svets is a great athlete, and he was going to play a significant role on both sides of the ball last year. And last August, just about this time, he suffered a seizure, and they discovered that the seizure was caused by some kind of malformation of veins or whatever, and he had to have surgery in Pittsburgh, and that all went successfully, but that meant he could not have participated in contact sports for 6 months. So his involvement with the football team, besides cheering, was to provide water for his teammates and footballs for the officials during games. So he was a great support to his team, but he could not get on the field. Well, fast forward 6 months from the time of that surgery, and he ended up winning the sectional title in the pentathlon and advancing to the state meet, and incredible athlete. And now here he is. Everything's come full circle. 12 months later, he's a starting quarterback on a very seems to be very talented Clymer Sherman Panama team. So that'll be it. We talk about a great first week matchup. That is definitely the case.
And I think where you'll probably see the big crowds this weekend again is Jamestown with their home opener with Williamsville North. How does it look for the Red Raiders this year, Scott?
Well, they are going to be a little bit different than they have shown over the last 3 or 4 years. They'll still operate out of the shotgun, but expect their games, instead of lasting NFL length, like 3 hours plus, for all us sports writers, we're very happy to know that the games will be a little quicker because they're going to run the ball and run the ball and run the ball again. When you have an offensive line that averages about 250 or 260 in high school, led by Jeremy Bush and some other talented linemen, and then having Devin Jackson, who he and Jeremy Bush are the 2 holdovers from Jamestown State Championship team in 2014. So they have a lot of experience in some key areas, and they have some, actually overall, a rather young team, as crazy as that sounds, but kids who are ready to fill in, and we'll see. But it's not going to be the air show that it has been in the last 3 or 4 years.
I think AA has a couple big players back too this year that Jamestown might have to get through. I think Dylan Janka's back at Orchard Park, the second team All-State quarterback, and Zach Samborski at Lancaster. I recall he ran all over Jamestown a little bit last year.
I think he had like 6 touchdowns in that game. That game will be at Lancaster in week 2. There's no Tom Langworthy, the coach, told me this week that there's not a game on the schedule that they can't win, but they're also it's so balanced that there's not going to be a blowout. There's not going to be an opportunity to maybe relax a little bit in your preparation. This is Class AA is really quite strong.
So yeah, other than the three we talked about, there's a couple other games around the area this weekend. Fredonia, Westfield, Brockton, their first three-school merged game will be Friday night. Cat Little Valley is going to host Frewsburg Friday night. Salamanca is going to host Cassadaga Valley Falconer Friday night. And then I think to cap off week 1 or maybe open week 2, we're not really sure, is Eden North Collins travel into Chautauqua Lake for their first game as not merged with Maple Grove anymore. So there's a lot of learning to do up there in Mayville, but I think Devin Pope and Kyler Micah might be under center.
And Nate Rivera and Josh Walsh are going to be running the ball for the Thunderbirds too. And one thing about Chautauqua Lake, they have an exceptional coaching staff in place. I mean, head coach Adam Erickson, he played and coached at SUNY Brockport. B.J. Monticelli, he played and coached at Washington Jefferson College. And Eric Schuster, he's an assistant coach up there with the football team now too. He coached the girls basketball team to the state title a couple of years ago. So I think when players don't really know what to expect heading into a season, that talented coaching staff is going to help them a lot get adjusted.
Well, we got a lot of more good news to talk about in a minute. We'll be right back.